Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and today we are playing Goblins, or Goblin Tokens, or Budget Goblins. You can call it whatever you want. And I swear, this is, I think, the third match in a row I have played where I have had a 5-land opening hand, which is absolutely terrible. I mean, I cannot keep this. So there's nothing in here that is redeeming. So we're gonna mulligan, and it's probably gonna mulligan down to like a 1-land hand. Oh my god, we have 3 lands, and oh what? We have turn, we have plays. Oh, okay, we're gonna keep this. And what's on top? Goblin War Marshal. Oh my. You can stay on top. I like you. And we are on the draw. So that's a thing as well. And what is our opponent playing? We are playing against what? I would like to find out. Unfortunately, we did keep two colorless mana producing lands. Darksteel Citadel. But hopefully we'll actually draw into one of our rebirths. Oh. Maybe we're playing a mirror match, just like the last episode. No, it is indeed actually artifacts, not fake artifacts like what we are playing. But we'll make our opponent think that we are playing fake artifact deck and ship it back to him. This is actually one of my favorite first turn plays when I'm playing against this deck, because people are like, oh man, we're totally playing against another Affinity deck. Whoopsies. But indeed you are not. And our opponent is going to gain a bunch of life, which is not ideal for us. I'm actually make this game actually really difficult, these guys specifically, because we kind of are a rush deck. Ooh, Goblin Piledriver and Warmark. There's so many options here. I think we are actually going to... What do I think? I think it's going to be Dragon Fodder. Dragon Fodder is the plan of the day, and then we will probably Marshal and then Goblin Warband? No, we can't Goblin Bushwhacker because we only have 1 red mana source, though that's a thing. But we could attack him with both of these guys. If he blocks, he's just going to lose one of his guys, so that is okay by me, especially because he has 3 of them now. I don't think he will ever block in. I mean, he's just going to be gaining more life than we're actually going to be doing. And Frogmite. Frogmite, you are definitely not my friend. Not even a little bit. On the upside is we can definitely put in a whole bunch of hate for Affinity. Specifically, we have Fork Bolt, and then we also have Shatter, I think it is, which is going to be... I think it's Shatter that I have in this one. I could actually take a look in the sideboard. Tell me what it is. Right in the comments. I don't remember right now. It's somewhere over in this area over here. We're waiting on our opponent. Yes, they're going to do damage to us and gain life back. Yes. Yes, indeed. It is another Dragon Fodder. I think we are going to Goblin Piledriver? Yeah, let's Goblin Piledriver. Get some of the piling drivings onto the table. Not going to swing in because Frogmite will obviously kill and block and kill one of our tokens, and I'd rather try and save up and do this, which would be a better option for us. Yeah, swinging in, or let our opponent take his turn. I like how Affinity can literally like play all of their stuff with only 1 land that produces only colorless mana. It's kind of a funny thing, if you do ask me indeed. And what is our opponent going to do? Swing in with everything, I'm assuming. Because why wouldn't you? And at this point, we are not going to block it, because I would rather turn around and swing in for more damage than he's going to swing into us. Potentially. Potentially more damage. Not with that, we're not. Well, that's a thing. So, might as well just go to combat now. Begin combat. Starting with... Our opponent is doing anything? Let's just swing with everything and go for it. Go for it all the way. And what do you think? Either Goblin, either Fodder or Marshal. I think Marshal's probably the better bet. Maybe not. Maybe Dragon Fodder's better. I think Dragon Fodder's a little bit better. And yeah, Fodder. Let's get some Fodders on the table. And go for it. I mean, we could especially swing in for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's not going to swing in for 6 because this has Summoning Sickness. But he's going to swing in now. He's going to actually hold back his Frogmite. Maybe we'll actually draw a mountain? That'd be really nice. That'd be nice to draw a mountain right now. Please draw me a mountain. All I want to do is draw a mountain. Mountain? A mountain would be really nice right now. Dear MTGO, please draw me a mountain. Love, Adrian. We may blow up his Frogmite with a Goblin Grenade, just so we can guarantee not have to deal with it. I feel like I should be blowing up these guys, actually. But we'll see. And what is our opponent waiting on? I mean, not like there's something else he can cast. A mountain! Oh, yes, that is fantastic. Okay, do we have enough to kill him? If we drop the Goblin Bushwhacker, that means everything's going to be... oh, he doesn't have Trample, he does Haste, so we can still block this guy. But we could Goblin Grenade into a War Marshal. Goblin Grenade his Frogmite. I could do that. So yeah, let's War Marshal. And then Goblin Grenade his Frogmite. Or do I Goblin Grenade his face? I think I have to Goblin Grenade his Frogmite. Then he has to leave all these guys up. Which means next turn we Goblin Bushwhacker, which makes his life that much more difficult. Yes, more! Give me all of them. And then what is the plan? I think we are going to... Yeah, I think we're actually... Yeah, we're going to get rid of Frogmite. Actually, hold on, cancel that. I could actually get rid of Signal Pest, which is actually probably a better bet. Cancel then. Let's just swing in with everything. Yeah, I think that's actually a good idea. Let's swing in with everything. Do I swing with everything? Yeah, go to combat. Begin combat. Sorry, I'm thinking so much here. I'm like, do I do this? What is the best line to play here? I haven't played this deck enough. I mean, I've played it lots, but not as much as I like play decks that I actually play like every week at FNM. So I'm not 100% familiar with what is actually the best line to play. I think this is going to be it because our opponent has to basically block Goblin Piledriver, which will kill Frogmite, and then we could Goblin Grenade Signal Pest, which will make it he's not make these guys bigger when they attack in, which means he's not going to be gaining life back as fast, which may actually give us the advantage when we play Goblin Bushwhacker next turn. Obviously, we're going to blow up Goblin Mog War Marshal when we kill off Signal Pest, because then we'll just get another token from it, rather than destroying one of our tokens. And what does he do? Declare blockers step. Are you blocking stuff? I'm assuming you are. I'm assuming you're actually going to go Frogmite blocks Piledriver, just so you're not going to take 9 damage. It's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, which is not enough to kill you, but it will put you in a very awkward spot for next turn when I swing in with a ton of stuff again. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what we thought would happen. And now we are going to Goblin Grenade your Signal Pest. Yep. And more Mog War Marshal gets us a new Goblin, which is splentacular. Get rid of the Signal Pest and ship it to our opponent's turn. And if things go correctly, we may have our opponent next turn, actually, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be 12 damage right there, plus the Goblin Bushwhacker. Assuming our opponent is silly enough to swing in with everything. Yeah, our opponent has no clue what's going on. Mind you, he may actually have something, you know, in his hand that may help him out. I'm assuming he does not. Okay, well, we're going to go for it. Casting for the kicker cost and going for all of the damage. Go to combat, swing with everything. Here we go, attack with all creatures. This is not lethal, but it is pretty darn close. It is going to be our opponent saying, I may die next turn if I don't do anything. Opponent goes to 1, which means he cannot attack in with all these guys because we will do more damage than he is going to absorb. Pretty difficult spot for our opponent. Again, he may have some kind of board wipe. I don't know. I don't think Affinity has any board wipe main board. Not that I can remember. Mind you, I mean, him having 1 land is, well, that's a terrible choice. You should never keep a 1 land hand. I do it all the time, with this deck specifically, and I guess you could do it technically with Affinity, because there's a lot of good things, specifically cards that actually have Affinity is ideally something you may want to play, you know, because you're playing a whole bunch of stuff for relatively cheap and then getting creatures for free from Affinity, but our deck doesn't really play very nice with those kind of decks, so our opponent may scoop it up. I mean, if he swings with everything, he goes to 4, and I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage to him. And that loses him the game. If he blocks 1, 2, 3, and takes 4 damage and also loses the game. So there is no winning here. He has to play another creature, or he loses. That is the current state of this. And if we draw into Shock, or what else can we draw into? Shock would be the big one. Nope, our opponent scoops it up. We're going to sideboard. He knows that he is no match for $40 Goblins. Oh boy. And what do we think? We could Smash to Smithereens is really good against this deck. Forked Bolt is also really good against this deck. We would rather go down the Hordling Outburst. I know stuff is really good. Also going to pull out a Mountain because we're pulling out our high casting cost stuff. On top of that, we can actually pull out a single Mog War Marshal and a single... I kind of want to pull out a Rebirth as well. I would rather sit on 2 Rebirths. It's probably not a terrible idea. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, pull out a single Rebirth. And run the deck back. What does our opponent think? Our opponent is probably going to be on the draw. Like how I put these little sparks around the sky. Do you see that? That's one of my favorite little things I did. And what do we think? What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? I think this is actually a really good opening hand against Dredge. I'm going to keep this. By Dredge, I mean Affinity. By Affinity, that is what I'm talking about. Okay. What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Blue? Our opponent had his blue in his deck? Ornithopter. Well, that's actually hard for us to deal with. With Forked Bolt, we could technically wipe it, but I'm going to hold off because if you play Signal Pest or those other flying creatures, we can actually do 1-1 and get 2 for 1 rather than 2 for 1 him rather than 2 for 1 ourselves. So yeah, and Goblin Grenade. Oh, it's like Christmas up in here. And let's get Signal Pest onto the table and just ship it back to our opponent and see what he plays. Come on, play a bunch of stuff that I can just blow up in like one fell swoop. That would make me personally a very happy player. But we'll see how this actually goes. Golem, that will potentially do it. We will have to play Forked Bolt on the Golem because he's going to start putting counters on all of his artifact creatures. If it just made them bigger, that'd be one thing, but it's actually not going to make them bigger. It's going to make them stronger forever. I mean, temporary bigger. It's like +1/+1 until end of turn. So that's a little bit sad for me. I wish I had something that had haste as well. But I don't, so let's go Forked Bolt, creature, by creature I mean player, and that is going to be okay. Let's pay our 1 red mana for that, get rid of that guy, and play a Denizen. And ship it to our opponent's turn. See how you like them. What do you think of them, bananas, opponent? By bananas, I mean bolts o forking. And again, always forgetting the graveyard. So you guys can see what's going on down here. He plays an Energy Chamber. Well, I feel like this may be a little bit of a scary deck for us. Because this is what? Put a 1/1 counter on target artifact creature, put a counter on target non-creature artifact. Well, that changes things a little bit. We could go to combat. I kind of... Oh, he has haste. Yeah, let's just go this way. We're just going to cast. I really don't want to, but we're going to cast our Reckless Bushwhacker for normal. Our Denizen will get bigger, and then we're going to swing it with everything. At least get some damage onto the table, onto the board, swing with everything, and either our opponent will block with Ornithopter or will not, because we are going to be do, what, 3/6 damage. So he could block a bunch of damage with it, or he could just take 6 to the face. Either way is fine by me. And he takes it. He takes it. He's going to take the damage, and he's going to put it onto Ornithopter, which at this time I'm actually completely okay with. Because, I mean, unless he puts more counters on it somehow, which could be a possibility, his deck is playing really slow. I usually expect basically Affinity to have puked their entire hand onto the table by turn 2, and we are now sitting at turn 4. Yeah, well, that's neat. He could probably put this on. He can put this onto an artifact right now. Instead, he is actually thought casting, so he cannot equip this yet. That would have made it really scary for us because he could throw it on an Ornithopter and then actually kill any of our stuff really easily, rather than kinda easy. So yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of stuff we can potentially draw that is going to make us the real threat here right now. Dragon Fodder is one of them. Let's do this. So we are going to Dragon Fodder. Denizen's going to get bigger. And then we are going to Surge cast Reckless Bushwhacker. Turn 4. When this deck gets the good opening hands, it gets the good opening hands. I'm not going to lie. So I don't know if our opponent can deal with this. This may be game? Attack with all creatures? Because we have, what, 2, 4... nope, we're going to get more than that. It's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 damage coming to our opponent. And I don't think he has enough to block. Even if he blocks Denizen, which is going to be 6 of that damage, it's still going to be enough for lethal. So unless he has something surprised hiding in his hand, I think we may have just wiped Affinity off the board. And it is indeed Goblins going to a 2-0 win against Affinity. -7. Oh my, that is so much extra damage. Anyways, I'm Adrian, this is Giant Monster Games, you're watching Goblins. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck, and until next time, don't forget to game like a giant monster.